Now, from across the Tri-States, this is KHQA Sports.
Well, there was a pretty significant 10-year reunion of sorts on Sunday in the hills of Clarksville. One celebrating one of the best basketball teams the Tri-States has ever produced and the resonant power of winning on the court and beyond.
Some people say that there is no such thing as perfect, but we had a perfect season, so you can't, I would argue and say yes, there is such a thing as perfect, and what we had was awesome.
10 years later, it all still seems a bit surreal. This tiny school from quote-unquote the middle of nowhere with two All-State future Division I players running the table to a state title, beating mighty Metro in the process. That was the apex of this still enduring Clopton basketball legacy, which has produced 8 state trophies since 2003, the latest of which came just this past March. But it was this core group that set the template for success, one that still resonates now away from the court in their second acts as wives, mothers, and successful career women. And it's one they say that will forever bind them together wherever they may be.
I think we all take quite a bit of pride in it. Not a lot of programs have what we were able to build, and I was just proud to be able to say that we got to start that and we can continue watching it grow as all the other little ones grow up. So it's kind of nice to see them wanting to follow in our footsteps.
You see these girls walk in here and they've all been to college and have degrees and have good jobs and are raising families and demonstrating what athletics is all about, to build good people.
We had the best coaches you could ask for. Coach Lindsay and Coach Bencomo are probably the two best men that I've ever met in my life, and to be able to say that they were a part of my basketball career is great, but they're also kind of part of my family at the same time. I think that they instilled a lot of drive and determination and a lot of character into each one of us, myself included. I don't think we could have asked for better people in our lives.
I didn't realize the impact or the effect that it would have on me today, but it's something that I've been able to carry with me, and I'm very proud of it. And I think that we rocked, and I'm very proud of my teammates and what we did then and where we are now.
And the Basketball Nostalgia Tour continues tomorrow as we catch up with two-time former KHQA Player of the Year, Miss Jordan Frericks, who's had a breakout campaign in the SEC playing for the Missouri Tigers. Again, that's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. A little baseball from the Prospect League to pass along. Tough night for the Quincy Gems on the road at Kokomo as they end up losing by the final count of 8-2. Justin Wiley's solo home run, the real bright spot tonight for the Gems. How about the Cavemen, though, taking on the Springfield Sliders? Top of the first, Sliders gain the advantage. David Jacob with a shot right here to deep right field. That'll play to pair, and at that point, it is 2-0 in favor of Springfield. The Cavemen, I should say, coming right back in this one, and they would do so in the bottom of the first. Ryan Snyder doing the job right here, going straight back up the middle to drive home a pair. We're tied up at the end of the first frame, and the Cavemen weren't done yet. Pick it up in the bottom of the third. Same dude, Mr. Ryan Snyder, about to step to the plate and do his work again. This time going opposite field with this one, finding another RBI to make it a 3-2 lead in favor of the Cavemen. The Cavemen kind of cruising at that point. It would allow, Mr. Jake Eichelberry to settle in on the hill. He's throwing well at this point. Unfortunately for him, an answer in the other way coming from the Springfield Sliders. Tim Del Porto ties this thing up at 3 apiece, but the Cavemen scare up 2 more runs and end up winning this thing at home tonight. Nice win for them by the final count of 5-3. Going to leave you tonight with a couple of major league scores. The White Sox and the Cardinals still going at it as we speak. Game has now moved to the top of the 11th. Chris Sale, got to feel sorry for him. As good a pitcher as there is in Major League Baseball right now, another no decision. He had 11 strikeouts tonight against the Birds, and a nice win tonight for the Chicago Cubs as they knock off the Mets 1-0. Kyle Hendricks, a couple of relievers getting the job done in that ball game as well. And again, a reminder coming up tomorrow night, we'll check in with Q&D product and Mizzou rising basketball star, Miss Jordan Frericks.
Looking forward to that. And, talking a little bit about that Clopton team, safe to say one of the best you've seen here?
I tell you what, the rivalry they had early on with Quincy Notre Dame, the one that sort of sprung out of the KHQA Subway Superfan Shootout, 2 games, back-to-back years, 1-point games, and both would go on to eventually win state championships down the road. Tell you what, it's pretty impressive what was wrought out of that Clopton and that Q&D rivalry. So, yeah, I'd say they're right up there with Q&D, and 8 state trophies in what,
bad.
12 years now. That's a pretty good run.
All right, thanks, Chris. And a story and a dream come true, 72 years in the making. You won't want to miss it. That's next.
This is the steam that rises from a biscuit that was just born from the oven. This is made from scratch.
The grilled pork chop biscuit, only at Hardee's.
As you can see, Good Samaritan Home continues to grow. But there is one thing that hasn't changed, and that's our great nurses and all of our employees. Come join our family by applying for the